Kia ora, nā mai, hara mai, hello and welcome to Porirua. Beautiful day outside and starting to heat up indoors as well here at Rauparaha Arena. It is round 8 of the Sky Broadband Rapid League. And what an afternoon it is for these two teams, the Queens and the Kāhu, set to do battle. First, of course, in this Rapid League game with 1 point up for grabs, and then GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi in the not too distant future with 3 points there to be taken. Justin Nelson and Miles Pearce with you. Great to have you here with me as always, Miles. And it is the last round of the season. Final four back here next week right here at Porirua. But so much on the line here this afternoon between the Queens and the Kāhu. Welcome.
I know, and it's going to be exciting for Rapid as well. You know, both games have such a huge impact on those final placings.
Well, let's take a look at the ladder as it stands after last night's games between the Whai and the Hoiho. Of course, the Puakai are out of the race. Their season is done. The Kāhu play today and then Monday night against the Whai. This is the last regular season game for the Queens. If the Queens win both games today, they sew up top spot. Cannot be beaten, done. That's it. If the Kāhu can take out the Tauihi game at least, they will go through and take top spot. What happens underneath the Queens and the Kāhu? Who knows? Still a lot to play out today and Monday night. Good news is both of these teams are at full strength, bar, of course, the injuries to Talia Tupaia and Maya Dodson. The starting five for the BBNZ Kāhu in this Rapid League game: Leach, the two tinnies, Udesiki and Rangi Brown. And what we're going to see today, but we probably haven't seen so much of the last few weeks, is both of these teams for Tauihi have named strong starting five lineups. They are preparing for next week.
They really are, and they probably were playing the game within the game a little bit for Rapid League. You know, we saw Penina Davidson and Thomas start some Rapid League games, and, you know, that point is so valuable throughout the competition. As you could see that when we showed the ladder, how important that was for the Puakai to get some points.
Ansco Foods, Queens, Kenny, Hunter, Graham, Mason and Lokatui. Lokatui missed Thursday night's matchup against the Puakai. She comes back in. In fact, in that Thursday night game, the Queens taking down the Puakai 42-27. Played so well, shot so well. And then last night, the Hoiho taking down the Whai 33-26. First ever Rapid League game that went to overtime. So there you go, there's always a first. Let's have a look at the TAB head-to-head for this one. And as we can see, the results so far this season, both teams score well, both teams shoot well, especially from the field.
They do indeed, and you can see that 44% from the floor. That's a great percentage, and that's really what it's a make or miss league, right? It's always going to come down to the teams that can make those shots, and particularly in situations like this where there's so much on the line.
No doubt about that. All the stats, of course, with thanks to the TAB. The coin officials for this opening game this afternoon, Saturday afternoon hoops on Sky Sports: Sharon Martin, Harry Apes and Amy Jo Clark. Sky Broadband Rapid League about to come your way. GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi coming up a little bit later on between the Queens and the Kāhu, who, it must be said, have built up some sort of rivalry in such a short amount of time.
It's great second year of the league, and they really go at it, and it's so important for the Kāhu to try and get both wins today to lock up that top spot, because the Queens got it over them this season so far.
Yeah, in fact, in Tauihi, going back into last year, the Queens currently have a 5-0 run on the Kāhu. Quite extraordinary.
It is, particularly because the Kāhu have got a lot of talent and are very well coached. So if you look at that, that is and I'm sure, as you said, there's a first for everything. So can they get their first victory here tonight?
So not too far away from a start here to this afternoon's opening game in the Sky Broadband Rapid League. If you're new to the format, 4x4 minute quarters, no coach timeouts during the game. Both teams have access to a Sky City player timeout, 1 per half. And as we saw last night for the first time, if it does go into overtime, it's a 1 minute period and it restarts with a jump back in the middle. I like that.
I do. I mean, I understand the possession arrow, but for hustle and for the start of quarters, go for it. I'd like to see more of our hustle plays rewarded with that jump ball. So that's just me. Shout out to FIBA for changing that rule a number of years ago. Let's see if we can swing that one back.
So both teams step out for this one. The Ensco Foods Queens up against the BNZ Kāhu. And of course, so much on the line as these two heavyweights jostle for their final placings ahead of next week's Final Four, which will be right here in Porirua. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a great facility, great venue, great city, and with the weather outside, you can't beat it right now.
Lovely day, isn't it? Underway, Queens with the first possession. And here is the queen of Porirua herself, Grace Hunter. Mason to Graham, back inside to Mason, trying to step back inside. Tinney loses possession, maybe just off the foot there of Tauihi, and the Queens will get it back underneath their basket. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Little fumble by Mason, but just the heads-up play as we see her shoot that little jump shot, come up short. The heads-up play to throw it back off one of the opposition.
So second opportunity here for the Queens. Grace Hunter, short corner, rolls in and out. And now the Kāhu pushing up for the first time here this afternoon. Udaseki handing off to Leach. Pass intercepted inside Kenny, who's been in pretty good form for the Queens. Her pass through to Lokatui on the move. Foul has been called. That'll go against Aotearoa Leach.
And what a great kick ahead. Just the ability to be able to throw that ball and get it right on the money. Lokatui running the floor well.
I reckon if she could have her time back there, Lokatui's going up for a basket as well. Here's Kenny in the corner receiving, firing away. Lokatui reaching over the back of Tinney. The ladder comes down with the rebound. Inside, Jason Tinney to Udaseki, stepping back and scoring on Mason. Opening points of this afternoon's Sky Broadband Rapid League contest.
And that's some great footwork down low. Just ability to catch, keep the defender on your back. As we see Graham fire and connect from three on the wing.
Good early look there for Tegan Graham. We know she's a sharpshooter. Opening points for the Queens.
Mentioned this before when watching the Queens games, but as we see, get an easy, the Kāhu come up with an easy bucket. A great collegiate career, and it's absolutely fantastic to see Tegan Graham back playing a trade.
All the way down the alley to the hoop. Latava Kenny for two. Here's Leach to Tinney, working with her sister up high. Keely and Jason. Jason driving on Mason, wins it back to Eti. Keeping it alive on the drive. That'll come up short. Graham with the rebound in front. Made to work for it.
That was a really good possession defensively from the Queens. Forcing two tough shots. Able to keep them off the glass.
Keep an eye on Hunter here. In fact, ball goes inside to Graham on the reverse. Leaves it a little bit short. She thought there was contact. No whistle as Jason Tinney given a lot of space there to dribble, but in the end, Graham flicked it out. So too did the Kāhu, and it ends up with Udaseki, who somehow makes a basket, seemingly, out of what looked like a Queen's possession going back the other way.
Udaseki is so tough down low. She's got great footwork, and she's strong enough to hold players to where she wants them, and then strong enough to get through contact and finish.
Made her Tall Ferns debut earlier this year as a 31-year-old Ash Udaseki, coming off what was a big 2022 for her personally. Had another child and also got married.
I know some people may remember her as Kelman Poto.
Of course. Got no doubt that brother will be watching on today. Big fan.
Had a great year with the Bulls.
Defensively, the Kāhu win out. 1 minute to play in this opening quarter. Both teams making some substitutions. Of course, the only players permitted to play in a Rapid League game are the 7 players who will be coming off the bench in the Tauihi game. So players 6 through to 12. And what we have seen as a result so far this year, Miles, travel called there on Rangi, is we just continue to see the emergence of some exciting young players.
We do indeed, and the opportunity is huge. And you look at some of the games, particularly tonight's Tauihi game is going to be so important, as we see Langton drive right, spin back, and can't get the left-handed one to go. But just the development for some of these players.
There is Langton battling away for possession with Aliana Tuiti.
This is the one I'd like to see us get back to a jump ball.
Well, you're on the bandwagon today, aren't you? I like that. Might be the topic of conversation for this afternoon. Jump balls v possession arrows.
Who loves women's basketball? Put up your hand.
It's going to be a Kāhu ball off the baseline. Shot clock at 16. Plenty of time here. In to Ieti. Comes up short. Rebound Langton. Here come the Queens. Perhaps a 2-for-1 opportunity. Kenny inside. Mason has it knocked out of her hands. Again, good defense, Kāhu. Been the staple of their opening quarter performances. Here's Asia Anderson stepping back to the basket. Lovely work.
That's great footwork. Taken up where Udaseki left off. Ability to catch and finish inside.
Well, remembering the Queens scored 42 against the best team in Rapid League, the Pauakai, on Thursday night. So this is an excellent defensive start by the Kāhu, holding the Queens to just 5 in that opening quarter, and they lead by 3.
And you're right, this is a fairly low-scoring Rapid game for what we've seen, particularly for the Queens coming off such a high-scoring Rapid game in their last round, in their last matchup versus Pauakai.
Well, last time these two teams played in the Sky Broadband Rapid League at this venue a few weeks ago, they put on between them 78 points. So
that's the scoring we've come to expect from these two talented rosters.
It's been a tight battle early, hasn't it? Quarter time. One game still to come in the Rapid League season. Of course, that'll be Monday night. Kāhu against the Phi. And Monday night sounds like a good time for a Sal's Super Special. In fact, so does Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night.
Any day that ends in Y.
You're right. And what a special it is this week. The NBL Steel. The combo is just $25. And of course, for the Sal's NBL Steel, it's a pretty easy code word to remember. Steel, get along and enjoy that for $25. How did you see the opening quarter, Miles?
The Queens had a few turnovers, which they probably want to take back, but they generated a couple of very good looks early on in the piece. They just weren't able to knock them down. The Kāhu, though, defensively just disrupted things along the way to force those turnovers. So we'll see how they come out here.
Queens shot 2 of 7. Kāhu 4 of 8.
But the Queens took some very good shots.
Lokatui, great feed inside to Hunter. Good start there for the Queens in this second quarter. Slick stuff. And Grace Hunter will head to the TAB. Good scissor action over the top.
And that's just another one of those good looks they've generated. Unfortunately, it didn't go. We've got Grace Hunter on the TAB foul line, but there's another good look that they've been able to generate. Kind of wishing that was a 3-point play.
Puts the first one away. Has plenty of local fans here in Porirua. Splits the pair at the TAB. And that margin is at 2. Leach is fouled. And she'll do what Grace Hunter just did at the other end, and she'll head to the TAB stripe now. Become an important member of the Kāhu this season. Aotearoa Leach. Giving plenty of minutes in both Rapid League and Tauihi. Let's see what she can do from the TAB. The first one's good.
And it's great to see her playing the role when the Tauihi games start. she's got such a great roster around her and such talented teammates that she really does contribute in so many different ways rather than just trying to look to score.
Starting lineup for the Kāhu in Tauihi a little bit later on this afternoon. Here's Hunter to the basket. Nice work from her. Crystal Ledger-Walker and Tess Madgen will be joined by Amari Thomas, Tara Reid, and Penina Davidson. That is a hot starting five.
That is indeed. That's that starting. You could throw that starting five into the WNBL in the Australian League, and they could mix it up there too.
Lokatui, again, that great feed from the high post. This time Kenny receiving and scoring. We've seen that a couple of times so far in this second quarter.
It's an action that they've gone to, and it's working well for them.
Big block, Kenny over the top of Rangi. Takes it, sends it down court. Here comes Lokatui on the drive and the step through. Draws contact, and now Paris Lokatui, the feeder of a couple of baskets already in this quarter, will now head to the TAB. Have a look at this on the GJ Gardner Holmes replay. Latava Kenny.
Taking her away. Two-handed.
Kāhu out by 2. Here's Lokatui at the TAB. Puts the first one away. Should be happy with that. It's probably been a problem area for her this season, sub 50%. And she's right on track, hitting 1 of 2.
Is it a commentator's curse if someone's below 50% and no?
Trust me, I've had it thrown at me a number of times this season.
Made the first and you mentioned it and missed the second.
There's Rangi. Anderson slipping through. Perimeter players, Udaseki pulls up. Sweet shot, Ash Udaseki for 2.
Great little couple of dribbles left on the pull-up there.
And again, the Queens are looking for this high post action through Lokatui. Udaseki all over it this time. Leach on the drive. Rimaera got a hand on it initially, but may have fouled as Eliana Tuaiti went to the hoop. GJ Gardner Holmes replay. There's the hand from Rimaera. And it might, in fact, be Lokatui who committed the first foul there.
Got a great push on the break by Leach just to create that. Even though the ball got knocked out of her hand, that pressure of her pushing the ball down the floor creates opportunities for her teammates.
Nice little gap opened up here midway through the second quarter. 5 points, never seems like much. But in this quick-fire rapid league, anything is possible. Mason stepping back again. Good defense, Kāhu. Udaseki right in the middle of it. Tuaiti on the move, nearly gets it to drop.
And you're right, a 5-point deficit in the Tauihi game, particularly in the second quarter of a Tauihi game, is nothing to stress about. But with the game so quick, no timeouts, it becomes a very, very big lead in a short stretch of time.
Both teams, of course, speaking of timeouts, still have access to their Sky City player timeout for this opening half. Tuaiti
stretching that lead.
And they've managed to get to the TAB quite a bit in the last 90 seconds. And they are converting.
Well, they're forcing the Queens to play some panic defense almost, because when they've come up with rebounds and steals, the pace that the Kāhu are pushing the ball at have got the Queens on their heels. So the Queens are in full scramble mode, and you can see those last couple of possessions, Kāhu are getting to the foul line just because of their intensity and pace up the floor.
And they're 6 of 6 from the stripe. As Eliana Tuaiti is waiting to go with her second shot here, just a break in play as we get some changes to the timing on the sideline. The coin officials looking after the business there. GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi coming up after this one. the Kāhu and the Queens. Of course, last year's grand finalists. Question is, will they meet in a semi-final this season or a grand final this season, or maybe a playoff for third this season? Who knows? Next week's Final Four, of course, here in Porirua. Saturday action, the two semi-finals, and then Sunday it's a playoff for third, and then, of course, the all-important grand final. That grand final live and free across New Zealand on Sky Open as well. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be a great weekend and some fantastic matchups. No matter where anyone finishes, that top four is going to be some unbelievably good games. We see Graham come off the on-ball on the wing, get deep into the key.
Kept it alive too off the miss. Tapped it back out to Mason. They now feed it in through Graham to Lokatui. Back on Udaseki. And again, Ash Udaseki's defense in this quarter has been quite outstanding.
And just forcing Lokatui to shoot a tough one there as we see Mason cut off the drive and play some great defense.
Kept it in play as well. Down by 6 inside the last minute of this first half. Rapid League action this afternoon. Kenny, Graham inside, Mason, play of the day from the Queens.
Great early kick on from the on-ball to try and beat the coverage and then throw in that diagonal pass. Great pass, great catch and finish by Mason.
Here's Tauihi turning the corner. Baseline, nowhere to go. Turns it over. And Queens with a chance here to add some more points. Kenny on the drive. Oh, could see what she was trying to do there, Miles.
And that's it's the conversation you got to have as a team or in your philosophy. Are we holding space or are we trying to cut on that? And you can see we couldn't quite see it there in the replay, but the cut from Lokatui took her out of that corner opportunity for that corner three, as we see Mason switch on the on-ball.
Well, Kāhu gave up the chance for their Sky City player timeout there, and they just got the shot away on the buzzer of the first half. So that'll deny the Queens with a chance to use their player timeout. Half-time here, Kāhu lead it by 4, 17-13. And unlike Tauihi in the Rapid League, it's just a 2-minute chat at halftime and the teams are straight back on court and getting back into it. Rugby World Cup just around the corner. Every game, of course, all 48 live on Sky Sport. Make sure you get up for it. Some early starts, but no doubt all of Aotearoa will be tuning in nice and early to watch the World Cup and, of course, watch the All Blacks in action.
I'm going to be honest, I may sleep in.
Oh, come on. I'll tell you what we won't be sleeping in for. The GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi Final Four coming up next weekend right here at Rauparaha Arena in Porirua. That QR code will take you straight through to the ticketing site. If you haven't got your tickets yet, jump on and grab them. Going to be a lot of fun as the 4 best teams battle it out for championship number 2. The Queens, of course, the inaugural champions in 2022. Can they go back to back?
Yes, they can, but I feel like they're going to be coming up a top opposition tonight. Kāhu are very talented, and if you look at the other teams in the top 4, the Fire is starting to play some very good basketball. And the Southern Hoiho, what a great performance from Zoe Richards last night. Just absolutely outstanding. Oh, career performance, and with everyone seemed to be finding some fairly good form right at the right time of the year.
Team to beat on paper, the Kāhu.
Yeah, Kāhu. It's got to be the Kāhu.
Well, we're going to get a really good look at them at full strength here today against the Queens.
And this season, the Queens have beaten them twice already, but the Kāhu didn't have their full complement. And they still really don't with Tupaia out. Yeah,
and we're still yet to hear officially from the team on whether Talia Tupaia will be back. There she is on the sidelines at the moment in full tracksuit. She's been out since last time in fact, the first time these two teams met, which was back in July. Yeah. So she's been out for quite some time, and from all reports, unlikely to come back, but that has not been confirmed by the Kāhu organisation yet.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Well, you never know. Langton fouling, maybe the early push here. In fact, shots have been awarded. Wouldn't mind seeing this again. Whistle came on the initial body contact right there. Well, she had picked up the ball, so fair enough. And back to the TAB. It has been a popular spot for the Kāhu so far here today. 5 of 6, make that 6 of 7. Lower than expected scoring game in the Rapid League this afternoon. These two teams can certainly turn it on for scoring.
They can indeed, and I'm surprised, even in this short format of the game, how few threes, as we see Hunter turn the ball over there and Leach back on the push on the break.
And again, drawing another foul, and you can take that back to the defensive end and the work of Ash Udaseki. There she is on the replay, stepping in front of Lokatui and setting up Aotea Leach.
But back to the scoring side of things, even in the modern game and the way the three-point shot is valued, right now we've only had three-point attempts for both teams combined. 1 of 3. It is a shortened version of the game, and you know, all those years ago when I played, if we shot 10 threes at halftime, coach would be yelling as it's too many. Right now, you're not getting enough up.
Well, unfortunate there for the Queens with the Kāhu adding another basket, and again, it was the work of Udaseki to keep it alive. Back they come. Here is Udaseki inside, pulls up, fires over the top, and she is having a big, big impact on this contest.
And we see another turnover.
In fact, may have just been on the inbound there. Tinney standing too close to the line.
No, too close. No, yeah, right there.
And an official warning to the team by the looks of it, off the baseline.
I thought he had signalled that Langton had stepped on the line as she was inbounding.
Kāhu on a 7-zip run to start this third quarter, and they've done it in less than a minute. We talked about how both of these teams can score. Well, the Kāhu are living up to that right now. Tuiiti with the foul. So if the Kāhu get this win, they will be outright top on 27 points. Queens will be on 26. And then if the Kāhu win Tauihi today, that's it. They can't lose top spot.
They can't lose top spot.
However, if the Queens win Tauihi today,
then it comes to Monday night's matchup.
Then it's all about Monday night. Kāhu would have to win the Tauihi game against the Phi to take top spot back. So still a bit on the line as Kenny heads to the TAB, misses the first. Not often we've seen the Queens this season struggle to score in the way that they have here today.
And even on that possession there, Kenny missing 2, which is very unusual. They've generated a couple of good looks. They have had a few turnovers, but the looks they've generated have been solid, and they've just got to be able to knock those down.
Anderson misses on the deep 2, quarterback pass to Graham. Somehow keeps it into Langton, takes out the signage. Now she steps back into court, in the corner, and nails it. Well, she was involved in everything there, Tegan Graham. Flying through the signage, getting back on court, into the corner, and nails a timely 3 miles.
And that's what the Queens need. They need one of their better shooters shooting more shots.
Couple of three-pointers here in this one for Tegan Graham. Queens down by 8. Kenny works around Lokatui, wants to go back inside, good hand Tinney. And again, another steal for the Kāhu. Steal number 5 for them. Here's the replay. And again, they just seem to be playing in front and putting pressure on ball carriers and doing all the little things that Coach Jody Cameron would be asking of them. It's been impressive.
And if this kind of pressure and pace can keep up for the Tauihi League, we are in for a very exciting game.
Rangi on the drive, hands it back out. Udisiki now. Tini can hit a three. That one in and out. Kept alive though by Keely Tini, and they start again. Leach pulls it up. Tini on the drive, late in the shot clock. Loose ball picked up. Jason Tini, thank you very much. Couldn't put it away, but fear not. Sister Keely is there to finish it all off. The two Tini sisters working well.
It's almost like the Queens, as we see Tegan Graham knock down another three. But the Queens on that possession thought everyone else was going to grab that rebound, and then they just stopped playing on the second offensive rebound.
Well, off that Graham three-pointer, as Rangi responds with three of her own, Coach Jody Cameron just stepped up to the sideline and remind Jason Tini on the way back down the floor that she's also got to play some defense. Three-pointer for Eva Langton.
I don't do defense. You're going to have to talk to someone else about that. But you're right. Just to say a little miscommunication on that play.
Margin at 7. There is Jody Cameron. Big week ahead for the Kāhu coaching staff. Game today against the Queens. Back at home on Monday night against the Fire. And given the form that the Fire are in, that'll be some sort of a contest as well.
They are playing very, very well. And, you know, getting the scalp of the Hoiho, particularly with the performance put in by the Hoiho, that's a big win.
That game at Event Finder on Monday night. All the action, of course, live right here on Sky Sport. Anderson, turnover. Hunter down behind play. Asia Anderson draws the foul. And I feel like a broken record, but defense is winning this game right now. Another turnover and another excellent steal there for the Kāhu, this time Asia Anderson.
And in the time that we've played, there's 12 seconds to go in this third quarter. To have 8-9 turnovers is just too many. And it's the pressure that the Kāhu are exhibiting on every pass, on every bounce of the ball, on every catch, that is just forcing the Queens to make these mistakes.
Well, very rarely will you see a team in the Rapid League get to the TAB 12 times. But that's what the Kāhu have done, and they've thoroughly deserved it.
They have indeed. They're putting the ball in the paint off the bounce or off the dribble, off the pass or off the dribble, sorry.
Margin at 8, turnover, mark it down. Another one against the Queens. That's their 10th of the game.
Once again, comes to that, do we hold space or cut? On that drive there, you know, the Queens have had a couple of turnovers just trying to throw a pass to someone on the three-point line while they're cutting.
Late shot for the Kāhu, 3-quarter time, 1 quarter to play in the Sky Broadband Rapid League this afternoon here in Porirua. And the Kāhu edging clear in that third quarter. Nice run for them.
And the way the Queens can score the ball, they've got more than enough firepower on this Rapid squad to be able to make up these 10 points and then some.
Margin is at 8. We've got it at the scoreboard, just fixing itself up at the moment. Getting back to the Kāhu, as I said, Miles, they play here today. Big game against the Queens. They then play against the Phi on Monday night at Event Finder. That is the final game of the regular season. And then it's all about the Final Four. Next Saturday, 2 semi-finals, of course. The 2 winners go through to Sunday night's grand final. The 2 losers will play off the third on Sunday afternoon. For those interested in times,
we don't know who those matchups are going to be yet.
Not at the moment. Semi-finals next Saturday, 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. New Zealand time, of course. And Sunday, playoff for third at 3:30 p.m. Grand final from 6 p.m. TAB stats to three-quarter time. What are you seeing, Miles Pearce?
The Kāhu are dominating right now. Points from turnovers, they're winning. Kāhu are winning that 10-0. And second chance points 4-0. And in terms of an 8-point game and in such a short game, that's a huge, huge statistic.
Can the Kāhu hang on and get this opening point here this afternoon? Latava Kenny, Mason getting after it. Langton swoops in, adds 2. We're back to 6.
And Mason did a great job crashing the glass to open up a little pocket for Langton to grab that O board and put it back in.
Anderson. One way, then the other. Tinney can shoot a 3. Shot clock at 5 inside to Anderson. Doesn't stick.
And the Queens with a little pressure of their own on that defensive play.
Well, if they score here, all of a sudden, game on. Mason draws the foul. Tegan Graham, 9 points in the game for the Queens. Ash Udasicki, 8 points, 5 rebounds for the Kāhu. Oh, Graham inside draws the foul. That was a little bit too easy.
The Queens may need to look to get it up more from 3. Shooting 4 or 5, 80%. Tells me they're not taking enough.
Here's the replay. And not surprisingly, Coach Jodie Cameron straight out of her seat when she saw that. Graham misses. Queens are 2 of 7 from the TAB. Kāhu are 9 of 12.
And you look at some of these close games in Rapid League and Tauihi League, it comes down to making shots. They've had some opportunities, they've got to knock those down.
Queens have had a good season in Rapid League. 2nd overall for wins. This contest has been a bit tougher. Tinney receives, fires, goes deep. Good work, Aotearoa Leach, to knock it out of the hands of Hunter. Oh, bit of a travel there. Well picked up by the Coin officials. I think Jason Tinney trying to explain what happened, but it was there for all of us to see, wasn't it?
She's trying to explain how she was trying to get away with that.
Tanya Tupu watching on for the Queens. 2:45 to play in this afternoon's Rapid League game. Graham to the corner. Langton on the drive will want to go back to her left, and she does. We're back to 3.
Like we mentioned at the break, this Queens team can definitely score. You can see that they've had a little bit of a quiet patch earlier in the game, but they've come out now. See Anderson, great position down low.
Just doesn't get the roll. Reaching in a foul on Latava Kenny. Rangi about to step back onto the floor for the Kāhu. There's the replay. Shot was short.
An offensive rebound starting to come into play. The Queens losing that battle too often, giving Kāhu second chance opportunities.
A lot of Tall Ferns teammates set to take the court in Tauihi this afternoon as well, Miles. Of course, Kalani Purcell, Stella Beck, Josie Trusdell. Queens, good basket. Hunter to Mason. And of course, we've got Penina Davidson, Crystal Ledger-Walker, Tara Reid.
We're loaded with talent in this game coming up.
Margin at 1. Offensive foul. Looks like against Keely Tinney, it is. Just wonder if there was some holding going on there. But importantly for the home team right now, they're on a bit of a burst. 7-0 start to this quarter as Mason goes down, and another foul against the Kāhu.
It's a decent bump there, as we could see on the bench. Some of her teammates
with their arm in the air, asking to see if that was an unsportsmanlike foul.
Well, the coin officials are having a chat here, and it is an unsportsmanlike foul. No play on the ball. And if you have a look at that GJ Gardner-Holmes replay, it's probably pretty accurate.
It was indeed. And the idea of just bumping the screen to make sure they're uncomfortable. But there, you're right there. That was more of an NRL-type shoulder. Not a lot of play on the ball. I'm sure the Warriors up the wires. I'm sure the Warriors boys would be happy with that shoulder check.
If up the wires is not in the New Zealand version of the Oxford Dictionary by now, then it damn well should be, because I've never heard a saying used so much as I have in the last few months here in New Zealand. We wish them well, of course. Tegan Graham, what a basket!
Knocks to the floor and knocks down the three.
Well,
Queens take the lead.
She put down both off that unsportsmanlike foul from the TAB. Then she's nailed a three. So that foul at mid-court against Keely Tinney has turned into 5 points for Tegan Graham. And the Queens are out by 4. Graham has...
Was that Mason or Graham that shot the free throws?
Oh, good question. I thought it was Tegan Graham.
I thought Mason was the one that got fouled.
I'll have to go back and have a look at that.
We're only watching the game. Great block from Langton.
Graham has 15, by the way, so it was Graham at the TAB.
There you go.
Starring at the moment. The Queens are out by 4 with just over a minute to go. This has been quite the turnaround, although another pass taken by Ash Udasicki. And just like that, the Kāhu are back to within a basket. Sky City player timeout called by Latava Kenny. They will advance the ball here, the Queens. Here's the replay. Udasicki again. Her defense has been a standout today for the Kāhu. What do the Queens do out of this Sky City player timeout? The ball will come up the floor, of course. Still a long way to go in this game. 1:07 to play.
And I'm sure the Queens have run through a number of options at practice for these exact situations.
Well, look out for Graham being a target here. 15 in the game. Here's Hunter. Searching. The Queen of Porirua puts it in. Big basket for Grace Hunter. Queens back out by 4. Leach inside. Good defense this time by Hunter. Wins it back, and the Queens can settle it down now. Kenny knows it. Time on their side. Hunter, not in a rush, he's fouled.
There's some of that pressure that we were talking about, and that will be a trip to the TAB foul line.
Here's Grace Hunter, just searching, wasn't she? Spinning back to the basket, kissing it off the glass. Well, last time out here at home, the Queens led against the Pauakai. Jacinta Beckley scored a full court layup on the buzzer to get the Pauakai up by 1. Last quarter run here by the Queens is 17-2. Make that 18-2 is what I've got in front of me. 18-2.
We talked about it at the break. The Queens can come up with some scoring punch, and right now they're proving it and showing every single part of it.
And with what now looks like a win coming their way in this Rapid League game, the Queens still do have a chance to take top spot heading into the Final Four.
They do indeed. And this is going to be a huge win, giving them that extra point on the Tauihi standings.
Out by 6. Look like the Kāhu were going to win this. Been a huge last quarter by the Queens. Handy basket there by Rangi. Queens don't have their player timeout available. They've used it. They get it across halfway. Big collision between Kenny and Udasicki. Langton will hold this up. draws the foul, and we'll head to the TAB. Let's have a look at this collision at mid-court. Here's Kenny Udaseki, both running into each other there. And the lefty, Eva Langton, will head to the stripe to add another couple. Been an impressive last quarter, remembering quarters are only 4 minutes long.
It has indeed. Free throws are huge right now. Queens, Langton knocks that down. Queens haven't been great from the stripe. And the Kāhu still have their Sky City player timeout.
And let me just correct that run. It's actually 17-4 run in this last quarter by the Queens. Mason gets it back. Maybe a late shot here for Grace Hunter. She's not going to worry about it. That'll do us. So, result here for the Queens. They get home by 5. We'll catch up with one of the stars in just a moment. Big last quarter by the Queens. Don't worry about the scoreboard there. It has already changed here at the stadium. We can tell you the final score. The Queens 38, the Kāhu 34. Last quarter for the Queens, a 16-4 run to take victory. Tegan Graham with 15 points for the Queens. She was the star of the show. Here she is with Miles Pearce. Great game for Tegan Graham, 15 points in that one for her to go with a couple of steals. Score correction, the final score 39-34. The Queens get home by 5. They grab another Rapid League win. Steph Watts there warming up ahead of today's GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi battle, the Queens and the Kāhu. Outside of the known injuries, Maya Dodson done for the season, of course. She's back in the US. She'll be watching on, actually, so we wish you well, Maya. Stella Beck also warming up there for the Queens. Off in the distance, Tess Madgen, former teammates at the Melbourne Boomers in the Australian WNBL. And, of course, no Talia Tapia for the Kāhu once again today. Round 8 action. Sky Broadband Rapid League, done and dusted. Queens get the win by 5. Can't wait to see Aussie Opals captain Tess Madgen in action here this afternoon. Not too far away, stick with us. Coming up on the other side of this break, GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi, the BNZ Northern Kāhu are in town and they're set to take on the Ansco Foods Tokomanawa Queens. We look forward to your company on the other side of the break. See you soon.
That was a hell of an explosion. I'll show you back.
I think we just have a little bit longer to fill the late minutes. Actually no, pretty much bang on.
Yeah, as long as they bring us back on, just go back on at 3, that's fine. We'll be fine.
I don't think it won't be much.
Yeah.
heard all about it. I think there were a couple of spectators had to be removed.
The Kāhu starting five. Fans, please put your hands together for number 23, Omari Thomas. Number 12, Penina Davidson. Number 6, Crystal Mitchell-Walker. And number 24, Tara Reed. Number 9, Tess Langton. And also number 1, Awa Tia Leach. Number 20, Rihanna Lumley. Number 27, Asia Anderson. Number 30, Aliana Tauihi. Number 13, Jeannie Tinney. And the captain, number 17, Ashley Udaseki. Also, number 11, Jason Tinney. And the coaches for tonight is the incomparable Jody Cameron. And also assistant coaches, Leon Walker. That is the Kāhu team for this game this afternoon. And introducing your Tokomanawa Queens starting five. Please put your hands together for number 5, all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina. Make some noise for Stephanie Watts. And also all the way from Iowa, please put your hands together for number 3, Chrislyn Carr. Also all the way from Napier, put your hands together for number 12, Josie Trosdale. And please put your hands together. She's all the way from Wellington. Please put your hands together for number 7, the captain, Stella Beck. And also, please put your hands together for number 32, Kalani Purcell, all the way from Hamilton. And also number 10, Tegan Graham. Number 4, Grace Hunter. Number 23, Paris Lokotui. Number 2, Itama Kenny. Number 13, Paris Mason. Number 11, Eva Langton. And also, number 1, Tia Peruera. The coaches for tonight is the incredible Tania Tubu. And the assistant coach is Sam Tui. Follow, that is your Tokomanawa Queens team. Make some noise!
Kia ora, nā mai, hara mai, hello and welcome. Round 8, GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi action. Saturday afternoon hoops live on Sky Sport. Great to have you with us as these two foes do battle once again. The Queens up against the Kāhu, and we are literally on the eve of this year's Final Four. Justin Nelson with you, Miles Pearce with me, and I love it when these two come to battle.
It's going to be a great one. We just saw in the Rapid League an amazing fourth quarter from the Queens to get that win, and the Kāhu trying to break a bit of a streak.
No doubt about it. It's been 5 straight wins for the Queens over the Kāhu when you go back in to 2022 and also this season. Here's the all-important ladder. As you mentioned, Sky Broadband Rapid League, the Queens have just taken down the Kāhu with a massive last quarter run. They get the point, they go to top. The news now is whoever wins this game this afternoon will end the season as the top seed ahead of next week's Final Four. It's that simple.
And that's a lot to play for right there. Absolutely huge.
Games coming up, Kāhu and the Phi do battle on Monday night. That is the final regular season game. And then, of course, next Saturday, right back here in Porirua, it is 1v4, 2v3, and then on Sunday, the all-important playoff for third, followed by the 2023 Grand Final. Kāhu, let's have a look at the starters for the visitors this afternoon. They are at full strength, minus the injured Talia Tapaya. And look at that starting unit. Crystal Ledger-Walker, Tess Madgen, Penina Davidson. Happy 28th birthday to Penina today. Amari Thomas and Tara Reed, the BBNZ Northern Kāhu. The coach is Jody Cameron. Let's hear her thoughts ahead of today's big clash.
Coach, welcome to Porirua. Final placings on the line tonight. How have you prepared for this one?
Very carefully. No, we really want to take the top spot, and I'm sure the Queens are after it as well. So this game is really important to us.
Awesome. Last time you guys played here, no Imagine. How's she fitting in? She's been here for a short time, but definitely making an impact on court.
Yeah, I just think that she brings a high level of experience to us and great leadership, and we're all responding really well with that, and it's really nice to have her on the team.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and good luck.
I really like the fact, Miles, that both of these teams have gone at full strength into this final game with their starting lineups. Of course, one injury, season ending for the Queens. Maya Dodson is missing. I mentioned earlier she's back in the US. She is watching on, by the way. So hello to you, Maya. We do miss you. We hope the rehab is going well. And Anne's Co-Foods, Tokomanawa Queens, I should say. Here is the starting lineup. Carr, Watts, Beck, Truesdell and Purcell. It is a very good unit as well.
It is indeed, led by Crystal and Carr, 22 points a game and a very impressive 6.5 rebounds a game from their point guard.
Coach is Tanya Tupu. Let's hear her thoughts ahead of this clash with the Kāhu.
Coach, big game. Final placings on the line. How have you prepared for this one?
Well, we're slowly building. We had a great game the other night, so we want to build on that. And we want to compete. And every time we play Kāhu, it's always a good battle. So we're looking forward to it.
And speaking of that good battle, you guys got them here last time at home. Tess Madgen is in, and Penina Davidson's back. So how do you deal with those two?
Oh, they're amazing players, and definitely the Kāhu's got an amazing squad. So our girls just have to rise to the occasion, and there's some great matchups tonight. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they go.
Me too. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Tanya Tupu, of course, championship winning coach in 2022, headed back to the Final Four here on home turf this time next week. Last year's finale was, of course, in Nelson. Let's have a look at the TAB head-to-head for this one. And look at the current form. In fact, the last time the Kāhu lost, it was against the Queens. Free throw attempts is an interesting one because the Queens are going at nearly 20 a game from the TAB, yet they are swamped in comparison by the Kāhu, who are number one at nearly 28 visits to the TAB per game.
Which is a lot, and both these teams, fourth and fifth in three-point attempts, and they really do rely on some fairly old-school basketball. Thomas is absolutely dominant inside. Udaseki, same for the Kāhu. Davidson, same. And they are really pushing the ball, posting guys up, and, trying to get to the line, trying to score inside.
Coin officials, Sharon Martin, Harry Apes and Amy Jo Clark with the whistles for this contest. Of course, the Rugby World Cup just around the corner. Make sure you get up for it. All 48 matches of the Rugby World Cup live on Sky Sport. Early risers, but great action for everyone across Aotearoa. Can't wait for you to join us for the Rugby World Cup on Sky Sport. Well, no doubt the Phi and the Hoi Hall will be watching on this afternoon as well, Miles. They too are both through to next week's Final Four. We don't know who's going to play who, but what we do know right now, after the Queens won the earlier Sky Broadband Rapid League contest, is whoever wins this game will be the number one seed next week.
That's right, and this is going to be such a huge game and have such a huge impact, and still with Monday to go, that can change the third and fourth seeding. So every single spot is up for grabs right now.
Well, this is the best team on paper. Tess Madgen, Tara Reid, Crystal Ledger-Walker, Penina Davidson, Amari Thomas will be in there as well. It is a formidable starting unit. And in fact, when you just talk about Tall Ferns coach Guy Malloy will be back in Australia watching on, as he does every Rapid League game and every Tauihi game. He does not miss a game. And he's got a number of senior Tall Ferns about to take the court in this contest. Josie Truesdell, of course, Stella Beck, Kalani Purcell returning to the court over the last couple of weeks after celebrating the birth of her first child. There is Kalani stepping out. Penina Davidson, as we mentioned, 28 years of age today. Happy birthday, Penina. Tara Reid, another rising tall fern right now, and Crystal Ledger-Walker as well. So we're loaded with stars as we get set to go here this afternoon between the Queens and the Kāhu. Exciting stuff with the Final Four just a week away.
It is indeed. And this really is for the Queens, if they can get this win, lock up top spot and then play the Hoiho or the Phi in that first game next week.
And it's not just New Zealand stars either. How good has it been to have Tess Madgen come in late in the season for this Kāhu team in baby blue? Tess Madgen, of course, the captain of the Australian Opals, former WNBA player with the Phoenix Mercury, championship winning captain with the Melbourne Boomers in the WNBL, and currently with the Sydney Flames in the same competition as well. Stars everywhere. Saturday afternoon hoops on Sky Sport and live around the world on FIBA YouTube. Hope you're well wherever you may be watching. Justin Nelson, Miles Pearce with you, and off the tap, it'll be a Queen's ball.
And a Queen's dead ball situation, so they've really got an opportunity to run whatever has been drawn up by Coach Tanya Tupu. And let's see if the Kāhu can come out with that early pressure like they did in their Rapid game.
Earlier score from the Sky Broadband Rapid League. The Queens blasting home in the last quarter. Huge run to take down the Kāhu, 39-34. And they currently sit top of the Tauihi ladder. Will it stay that way? It all comes down to this contest. Purcell, Thomas, she's got to do something too long in the paint. That score won't count. Good defense, Amari Thomas. Good matchup between her and Purcell.
That is going to be an absolute battle down low on the post. Looking forward to that, watching that all night long.
And we know the talents of Kalani Purcell as defender. She's about to take on one of the very best offensive forwards this season in Amari Thomas. Davidson leaves it short.
Uncharacteristically so.
Speaking of matchups, Chrislyn Carr and Crystal Ledger-Walker. Steph Watts from the wing. Tara Reid is running with her. Just good matchups everywhere. Stella Beck has the job on Tess Madgen. Ledger-Walker in the corner gets the opening points of the game.
Imagine with her opening assist of the game. Just over 8.5 a game to go with just over 20 points. It's a great late season pickup for the Kāhu.
Here's Chrislyn Carr for three. That one not too far away. The other matchup is a good one as well. Trusdell and Davidson. Ledger-Walker open for three. Wedges that one. And they'll take possession. Monday night hoops coming up. Final game of the regular season. Live on Sky Sport. Join us from Event Finder, 6:30 p.m. New Zealand time, as the Kāhu take on the Phi. Quick look at the Sal's NBL steal. You know what to do by now. Save yourself some money as well for a great fee. Davidson with another basket.
And that's what we're used to for the birthday kid. Strong finish inside.
Her first points of the afternoon. Kāhu with a 5-point lead. It opens up for Chrislyn Carr.
And it looked like they were trying to force, as you see Thomas chatting with Madgen on the way down, that defensive breakdown. They looked like they were trying to run something, but just obviously a breakdown. Carr getting right to the rim for an uncontested layup.
Well, her turn of speed, Chrislyn Carr, is quite incredible. Three-pointer, Amari Thomas. So good start for the Kāhu here. A couple of threes, plus a Penina Davidson basket inside. Beck pulls it up. Here's Purcell on Davidson now. Hands it off to Stella Beck, nowhere to go. Shot clock down to 5, got to do something. Does do something, Stella Beck.
Stella Beck is so good in these situations. Late clock, she doesn't She doesn't get rushed. She plays at her own pace and always seems to have time and space.
Madgen on the step back. 3 threes in the opening couple of minutes for the Northern Kāhu this afternoon. They lead by 7.
And this is the danger for the Queens. The Kāhu have got everyone on the floor right now that can knock down a 3. So if you give any of them space, that thing can go up. As we see Watts get to the rim, unable to finish.
And it's happened a lot for her this season. Just her shots have been a little bit heavy-handed. Tamar Reid, great drive. Timeout Queens. They've seen enough from the sidelines. It's a 9-point margin early. Hot shooting from the Kāhu. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Tamar Reid soon headed to the Aussie WNBL. Makes good with that basket. 3 minutes into the game, it's a 9-point lead.
Yeah, and Reid very deservingly going to the Australian League, the Australian WNBL. She is one hell of a player, and I think she's going to have a fantastic career. But someone's got, for the Queens on that last play, someone's got to stop the ball, slow that thing down.
Speaking of the Australian WNBL, Ezra McGoldrick was announced yesterday that she too has picked up a contract there, headed to the Bendigo Spirit to work with Kiwi coach Kennedy Kellyama. So great to see another Kiwi headed to the Australian League. Tamar Reid, of course, joined us on Sal's Hoopheads last week. Talk about her career so far and the path ahead. And surely with all of these New Zealand women making their way into the Australian League, surely it's time for a Kiwi team back in the Aussie WNBL. What are your thoughts?
I think that would be a fantastic idea. Where do you base it? Where do you base this team?
I think if you had a team playing in that competition, Chrislyn Carr pulls up, back of the iron. Not sure about where you base it, but I think you spread the games around between Christchurch, Wellington and Auckland. Take it to everyone. Penina Davidson reaching in over the top of Tegan Graham, keeps it alive here for the Kāhu, wants it inside, has a mismatch on Graham, knows it, goes to work, forces the foul. She's off to the TAB. So I'd play it up and down the country.
There you go.
In terms of home games, not sure which city you'd be based in.
And the Breakers have done that over the years, taken games to a number of different venues.
Well, given the talent that's coming through New Zealand women's basketball right now, certainly time.
We seem to have more and more girls heading to the Australian League, so it makes sense. Try and elevate that game and get a home team.
This is a great start for the Kāhu. Carr had a quick look. Watts. Queens have got to get busy. Turnover. No, it falls to Truesdale. Goes up on Davidson. A lot of contact there. No whistle. And the Kāhu get that back. So maybe, looked like it came off Davidson last, but Coin officials a lot closer than us. And maybe in the end, well done by Penina Davidson to avoid contact. Ledger Walker, Thomas, Graham helps out, but look who's left alone. Davidson becoming a handful in the opening 4 minutes of this game.
Just one of her, she's averaging close to 12 rebounds a game. And it's things like that, little possessions like that give her those stats.
Steph Watts deep on the shot. Queens with a second chance here. Oh, well, I'll tell you now, Chrislyn Carr just did her best effort to bring us into the game, because she has passed the ball
right to us.
Straight to us.
We were open.
That's the only possession I'm going to get in a Tauihi game this season, Miles. So
what's your range like from here?
Yeah, not great.
Okay.
Margin at 13. Hot start from the Kāhu. They look a formidable unit ahead of the Final Four. Tess Madgen not far away.
And that's a tough under. So if the Queens continue to go under that on-ball screen with Madgen, she's going to have a field day shooting that ball.
Haven't even played 5 minutes in this contest. That's how good this start has been by the team in baby blue. Tegan Graham had 15 in the Rapid League game. Here's Watts. misses another long-range attempt. And they're up and going, the Kāhu. Wind in their sails. Tara Reid, I think, may have just stepped on the sideline there. She did. That's a coach killer.
Even with a 13-point lead, that's still a coach killer. Gives the Queens a chance, though, dead ball situation, to try and generate a good look out of their offense.
Well, I asked you earlier, Miles, who you thought were the team to beat in next week's Final Four. Stella Beck from the corner. You've talked about the Kāhu.
The Kāhu are coming in, and they've been in great form. As you mentioned, the last loss was here to the Queens. But the Phi have been playing some unbelievably good basketball lately.
Turnover there, Stella Beck looking for Tegan Graham. And the reason I mention that is this is the first time this season we've had the chance to look at this starting unit together for the Kāhu. And in the last 5.5 minutes, I've got to tell you, it's pretty impressive.
It is indeed. And a number of different teams played the Rapid League a number of different ways. And you could see, as we see Davidson get fouled and head to the TAB line. The Kāhu played something, Thomas, Davidson, Ledger Walker, all in the Rapid League at times, to try and, you can know that they're trying to get on that point, that extra point, which is, if we look at the table, that's huge. Davidson getting the first to go.
Well, this is the unit that they will take into next week's Final Four. This is their best 5, and what a start they've had here today. They're out by 15 inside the opening 6 minutes of this contest, and it's all on the Queens to respond right now. They're shuffling changes off the bench. Stella Beck, and they're just being pulled up on the dribble. Another turnover through the hands of Tegan Graham.
It just seems right now that the Kāhu have a little more defensive intensity and a little more defensive pressure, just forcing the Queens into a couple of little mistakes. As we imagine, put the ball on the floor, get to a great pivot game.
Well, Crystal Ledger Walker as well was sitting in that corner by herself for the entire offense, and in the end, that's who they found. Chrislyn Carr looks to respond, can't put it away. Queens shooting poorly, 2 of 11 at the moment. Thomas wants it inside, gets it down low, doubled. It allows Davidson to come through, misses the bunny. Margin at 18. Steph Watts needs to get busy here. WNBA draft pick number 10 earns herself a trip to the TAB.
Subbing in for the Queens is number 32.
Here's the replay around Ledger Walker, who in the end reaches in and commits the foul.
And that's the Queens are going to need a little more of that. A little more of put the ball on the floor, try and get they're shooting the ball poorly. Get to the foul line. See the ball go through the net, as Grace Hunter did just that.
Sorry, I should say Grace Hunter. I was saying Steph Watts before. My mistake. It is Grace Hunter, of course, at the TAB, who converts, and Steph Watts comes back out. And as they walk past each other, you can actually see between Grace Hunter and Steph Watts, very identical look today, bar that right leg compression unit for Grace Hunter. Here's Kalani Purcell. Hunter now launches from 3, and again they've had a few rattle out, haven't they?
They have, but that's a much better look for the Queens. A little bit of ball movement side to side.
Ledger Walker picks up the dribble. Already put away a couple of threes in this first quarter. Queens held to just 6 points at the moment. Looking stagnant in offense. Purcell does well to find Watts on the drive. Again, just too much on it. Just going at 29% from the field.
But you can see the pressure and that great backdoor cut for Watts to get on the rim. That's something the Queens are going to need to look to do more to try and, you know, beat the pressure and try and get an advantage.
Steph Watts has definitely had an indifferent season. 0 of 4 shooting so far this afternoon. I should say 37% from the field. Has been sub 30 in a few games this season. They'll be hoping that she can get going, but they need more than her to get going as Amari Thomas lands another 3. It's a 25-6 run, and the Kāhu are 5 of 9 from downtown in this opening quarter.
That is an absolutely hot start.
Purcell leaves it short over Thomas. Lokatui to Watts. Back to Lokatui. Unconventional. And with 90 seconds to play, Magin gets on the move. Look out, Thomas again. A third for her in this opening quarter. They are on fire.
And Magin with the push of the ball, getting feet in paint, able to find that open shooter who's already knocked down a couple. Get it to the hot hand.
3 of 3 from long range. That basket won't count. Foul is on Reed. And there it is there, just reaching in. Amari Thomas, perfect 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. Steph Watts with some space here. She needs one to go, and again, it rattles out.
Pretty good look. Queens have got to knock down a couple of these just to keep some scoreboard pressure on.
Well, I'm not sure of the Queens' lowest score for a quarter this season, but I dare say, given they're the top team, you're looking at it right now.
It might be one of the lowest scores in Tauihi history. 6 is not a lot, particularly with the talent that the Queens have.
Aotearoa Leach steps in for Crystal Ledger-Walker. Kāhu, 9 of 16 shooting, 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. In comparison, the Queens, 0 of 10 from long range.
Make or miss league, and the Queens have generated a couple of good looks. The one from Watts just a couple of possessions ago. Hey, Reed goes for the steal, one dribble in rhythm, still goes in and out.
Steph Watts 0 of 5 shooting in this opening quarter. Queens 2 of 17 on the TAB stat sheet. Kāhu leading the rebounds 14-8. Queens don't have a single assist. The Kāhu have 8 of them. One-way traffic in this opening quarter.
It has been, and Magin's just moving the ball very well. Whenever her or Ledger Walker got the ball in hand, they're looking to push, and they're very, very willing passers. And another one just sat on the rim for Hunter. But not only are they very willing passers, they're very, very capable passers.
Stella Beck on the drive, gets one to drop.
Great little inside hand finish.
Dying seconds of this opening quarter, it has belonged comprehensively to the Kāhu. Here's Tess Magin. Thomas has been everywhere, has not missed yet. 11 in the opening quarter to Amari Thomas without a miss. And that'll do us a first quarter for Kāhu fans to celebrate. They lead this one 32-8 after the opening 10 minutes. We'll pick it all apart and head into the second term on the other side of the break.
Make some noise for them, make some noise. Let's go. Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control. You know.
Well, one quarter down here in Porirua today, and a quarter dominated by the Northern Kāhu. They lead 32-8. Impressive stuff to quarter time. The official stats partner of the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi is the TAB. Let's have a look at the TAB stats. Miles Pearce.
Well, percentage just sums it up, really. Overall field goal percentage for the Queens, 15.8. Whereas the Kāhu shooting 58.8, 6 of 10 from 3.
Dominant performance. Reed to add another one. Just like that, taking off from where they left off. As this margin continues to balloon out to 27 points. Watts, Lokatui, pass, turnover. They are at 6s and 7s right now, the Queens.
And right now, if you're the Queens, Coach Tanya Tupu's got to almost try anything, throw anything out there. You may not have practiced it, you may not have tried it before, but you've got to do something to upset the rhythm of this really strong Kāhu squad.
Thomas inside, Lokatui doesn't have an answer. And this is now well past the ugly stage. 29-point margin coming in, the top two teams, believe it or not.
Yeah, 1 versus 2 on the table.
Watts on the drive, gets one to go. That'll boost her confidence. Hasn't been able to hit from downtown. Looked a lot better on the drive. It is a long way back from here, though. Madgen turns to the basket.
Almost can't believe that one didn't go in the way that the Kāhu have been shooting the ball.
Watts goes back from outside. Same result as her previous 3 shots from downtown. Kāhu again, this starting 5 just working so well together. They are literally scoring 2 out of every 3 times down the court.
And for me, where is the ball pressure from the Queens to try and make every entry pass really hard, as we see Kāhu knock down a pull-up?
Well, even a defensive change-up zone, you know, do they do something different? What are your thoughts?
They've got to try something, because this Kāhu squad is hot right now.
Good defense. Stella Beck wins it back. Crowd gets into it. Kāhu pulls up for 3. That won't go.
And that's, if they want to try and eat into this lead, they need to get a stop and a score. Chip away, stop, score, stop, score. They got to stop on that possession. They couldn't come up with a score. Let's see what the Kāhu can generate here.
We know the Kāhu play again on Monday night against the Fire. Thomas inside again. That's just bread and butter stuff for her. But the next time the Queens will play will be in a semi-final. So whatever confidence, good or bad, they take out of this game, they take into a semi-final. That will be on their minds as Steph Watts looking a lot better on the drive.
And you're right there. You got to be able, you know, Ted Lasso, be a goldfish. You got to have a short memory. That first quarter wasn't very good at all. You've just got to flush that thing away and start again.
Madgen has Kāhu to contend with now. Thomas does well to provide some space. Short on the shot. Kāhu back the other way. Lokatui got a free shot in the end. Unable to finish. Ledger Walker on Watts. Left it behind. Foul called here. That is on the Queens.
I believe that one was on Watts.
Have a good look at it here again. GJ Gardner Homes replay. And, well, I'm not sure how you saw that one, but not a lot of contact. Doesn't matter. Whistle's blowing. We've got a timeout. 41-14. And this team, the Queens, have got a few areas to address.
They do indeed. And one of the things right now is, unfortunately, it's both ends of the floor. They're not scoring and they're not stopping anyone. So their ability to pick one of those up has got to happen. It's got to happen fairly quickly. Offensively, they've got to be able to take advantage of the pressure, trying to look for more of those backdoor cuts and try and get the ball and feet in paint.
And defensively, they need to try something different. Throw anything out there, a different look.
Queen T on court with some entertainment. Good crowd in here this afternoon at Porirua. Final four.
Is Queen T the most fabulous of the mascots?
Well, that's certainly the word around town. Very, very popular with the fans, Queen T. Final four back here next week, Saturday and Sunday. All the highlights, of course, from the GJ Gardner Homes at Tauihi every Tuesday night on Sky Sport. There'll be a fair bit to pick apart from round 8. And I dare say there's going to be a lot of highlights based on what we've seen so far from the Kāhu.
Yeah, just from that first quarter alone. Hoop heads will have a lot to show. Can you get an extended time slot with if you've got extra highlights, or are you going to start being a little more picky?
It's a very good question, Miles Pearce.
We'll talk to the producers and see what we can work out.
Chrislyn Carr stepping back, finally gets a 3 to drop. The crowd likes that.
Tough shot shooting over the extended hands of Madgen.
May have been awarded a deep 2, in fact. Foot on the line is the official call. Lokatui in front of Thomas. Here comes Carr again, starting to get busy. Gets to the basket. Just off to the right, reaching in Steph Watts with the foul.
And I like that last defensive play, trying to front Thomas in the post, trying to be a little more disruptive. As we see Carr turn on the Jets. Get to the rim.
Incredibly quick player.
She's provided many a highlight in transition and the open floor.
22 points a game, Chrislyn Carr. Defense now on Madgen. Fouls in the end. Madgen off to the TAB.
And this is a strategy that I thought would hurt the Queens throughout the season, but hasn't really. Just people trying to post up Carr more often. And a lot of teams haven't really tried to attack her through the post.
Hunter coming back in for the Queens. Paris Mason as well. How about Tess Madgen? Arrives in the country a couple of weeks ago, coming off injury. Coming in for the back end of the season, playing enough games to qualify for the Final Four. 20 points a game, 5 rebounds, just under 9 assists, and shooting the 3 ball at 47%.
Well, this is why she's internationally good. Captain of the Opals, getting it done at a number of different leagues. WNBA all the way through down now to Tauihi League.
Offensive foul on Josie Trusdell. Nearly 15 minutes gone in the game. And this Queens team held to just 16 points.
And you're right.
7 of 28 the shooting.
And Carr's long shot was a long 2. So 0 of 12 from the 3-point line. Something that they've done fairly well this season.
Amari Thomas with 15 points, yet to miss. Penina Davidson, 10 points. Tara Reid with 7 points. Reid also has 9 rebounds in the game as well. The perfect build-up for the Northern Kāhu as they head back to the Final Four. Of course, fell 1 win short last season, losing to the Queens in the inaugural championship decider. But they have different ideas in season 2023.
And the Kāhu have come back reloaded with this roster. We see Carr get an own offensive rebound. Great find to Hunter on the offensive rebound. Hunter knocks down a 3, manages to eat into this lead a little.
And Grace Hunter is a player who can get going from deep.
Oh, we saw the Queens down in the Rapid League game and come out with a huge fourth quarter in those 4 minutes.
Trusdell with the foul. Just getting back to that Sky Broadband Rapid League game. That last quarter run by the Queens was 17-4. And they got up 39-34.
So they have the potential to put some points on the board and do it in a hurry.
Tegan Graham had 15 points in that one earlier today. Ash Udaseki for the Kāhu, 10 points and 5 rebounds as Reed continues to get the job done for the Kāhu. Leading by 25. Quite extraordinary. Carr on Madgen, great matchup. Truesdell inside, foul there. Beck scores, she'll head to the TAB.
And that's just a little more patience and poise from the Queens, being able to move the ball. Great cut from Beck, holding the seal inside, able to finish through contact, earns herself away to a trip to the TAB line.
Well, I think importantly, Miles, getting the ball inside as well. We've talked about their long-range shooting today, 1 of 14 from deep. Only that Grace Hunter three-pointer going down. Beck takes a rest. Was very impressive against the Pauakai on Thursday night, Stella Beck.
And we might need a little bit of Tegan Graham to come into the game. Got hot in the Rapid League game, 4 of 4, as we see Mason come up with a great defensive possession on Thomas.
And Carr quickly back the other way. Reed just got a hand in there at the end. Did well defensively. There's the work of Mason and Truesdell on Thomas. Just losing a hand on it, in fact, before it came off Reed. Carr to bring it in. Mason inside. Hunter, corner, Latava Kenny.
Just a better look, inside-outside game. Generating a good look from 3.
Ledger Walker to the birthday girl, Davidson, Madgen. Shot clock at 6. Madgen, baseline drive through the gap. Thomas, look out. Amari Thomas is 4 of 4 from long range, has 18 points in the game, has not missed a shot.
And you've got to know where she is. She hit the first one, and she's shooting a great clip on the year. You've got to know where she is at all times, particularly if she starts getting hot. We see Carr knock down a long 2.
Amari Thomas from the field this season, 60%. And this is a player that's going at 26 points a game. So it's not as if she's only taking a few shots at a high clip. She's taking a lot of shots at a high clip.
Doing a great job, as we see another inside-out look.
Ledger Walker's already hit a couple of threes. That one won't go down. Carr pulls it up, knocks it down. Timeout, Kāhu. Jodie Cameron wants to have a chat to her team. Can't be too disappointed with what she's seen so far here this afternoon, though. Although the Queens have just started to land a couple of blows in the last few minutes.
They have, and you know a run's going to come. And that thing is going to happen, and it's going to be how well you can withstand that run and what you can do. Jodie Cameron saw that, quickly called a timeout. They're going to address some things right now and try and get this lead back to where it was for them.
32-8 opening quarter today from the Kāhu. The Queens have so far responded in this second quarter with a 19-15 run. But it is a big gap that they're trying to make up. Biggest lead of the game so far for the Kāhu, 29 points. Sells NBL Steel. The #1 combo up and down the country, it sells just $25 through to next Wednesday. The online code is Steel. Nice and easy. Go and enjoy that one for $25. It's fantastic.
It's a good feed.
The garlic knots. Do you like the garlic knots?
I do indeed. You don't get to be as big as me, though, without liking pretty much everything.
That's true.
So, but no, that's good. Like, we could split one, or we could get one each. What do you think?
I'd be happy to split a Sal's pizza with you, because I know that every time Casey, Frank and I sit down with the Sal's, it is never an even deal. No. Never.
See, you could get one and I could get one. I could just eat what's left of yours.
Well, never go Harvey's in a Sal's with Casey Frank, because he's going to chew up some of your dollars, mate, I'm telling you.
There you go.
Foul there against Chrislyn Carr. Just her second. Steph Watts, by the way, has 3 fouls. That's why she's not on the floor at the moment. You do get 6 personal fouls in Tauihi this season, which no doubt has been good in a couple of aspects. Stars of the game are on the court longer.
Yes.
And certainly in the game at the end as well, which is leading to some exciting finishes in games with the best players out there. But it is also a bit of a added relief for the players with that extra foul to give.
And the coaches, I'm sure.
Here's Hunter. Mason against Thomas. Too much on it in the end.
Mason able to use her speed and athletic ability over Thomas. Get to the rim, unable to finish. Thomas back the other way, using that strength to try and get position inside. Davidson a little fumble.
And probably something the coaches would like to see a little bit more from Paris Mason. Driving the basket.
Yes, indeed. Tall fern earlier this year.
Here's Hunter. Finds a way around Ledger Walker. Scoops it up off the right hand. A classic Grace Hunter drive to the basket.
And this is where the Queens have got to be able to keep getting those kinds of look. Handle the pressure, take it and build on that.
Thomas. Dangerous inside, and today well and truly dangerous outside. Ledger Walker, shot clock at 3. Got to do something here. Turns, shoots, doesn't get the roll. Davidson with the rebound. Will go back at it and does get the drop on Truesdell.
And Davidson's just so strong down there with great footwork. She grabs offensive rebounds like that. It is going to be a long night. 12
points in the game for Penina Davidson. Truesdell on the slip, receives from Beck and finishes off. Those two have done that a few times this season.
They have, just a great little engagement of the defensive coverage. Josie gets out of there quick, get on the rim.
Whoever wins this one this afternoon goes into the Final Four ranked number 1. Ledger Walker is fouled by Grace Hunter, and she'll have a look at 3 shots from the TAB. Official stats partner of the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi, the TAB, and the stats so far in today's game dominated by the team in blue.
They really have been. Shooting percentage, rebounds. Unfortunately for the Queens, the only one they're winning is turnovers, and that's not the one you want to win.
Second one down for Ledger Walker. One of our regulars, of course, on Sal's Hoop Heads during the Tauihi season. Great to have her on the team.
She's been doing a fantastic job putting up with you guys.
Nice of you to add that in there, Miles. Thanks for that.
Oh, I've got to have a dig every now and then. Keep it fun.
Carr, great move, good handles. And as we've seen a few times in this opening half for her, just not getting the shot to drop. 2 of 9 shooting for her. Here's Madgen. Busy. Ledger Walker to add another 3. Late opportunity here for the Queens. Thomas called for the foul. Both teams still do have their Sky City player timeout, and you'd think the Queens will probably use theirs here. As soon as Stella Beck is handed the ball on the baseline, don't be surprised. There you go. So Sky City player timeout for the Queens. They will advance the ball here with 3.4 seconds to play.
Which is quite a long time in terms of basketball world.
So they'll have a chat here. Stella Beck talking about what they will play. What can they do here? Can they score late? Margin was as high as 29, believe it or not. It's now back at 22. Queens would certainly like a late score here. Take some confidence into the half. Straight down to Truesdell on the drive. Draws the foul. So teaming up again, Stella Beck and Josie Trusdell, the two tall ferns. 2 points, 5 rebounds, an assist and a steal in the opening half for Trusdell. Puts the first one down from the TAB. Her first visit to the stripe today, 81% shooter from this spot. Makes it 2 of 2, and now the Kāhu, you would think. In fact, they don't use their Sky City player timeout. They can't see the need for it with such a short amount of time on the clock. And at half-time, we've got a 20-point margin. At one stage got out to 29, a 32-8 start by the Kāhu. The Queens have bounced back with a 25-22 second quarter. Let's head down to the sidelines. Penina Davidson, 28 years of age today, the birthday girl. Here she is with Miles Pearce.
First of all, happy birthday. That's not a problem. A great start for you guys. How do you keep this rolling in the second?
We know it's the business end of season, so we got playoffs literally next week. We don't really have time to lapse. Yeah.
Hey, anything that you guys want to tidy up? Queens came on a little bit of run in the second quarter. Yeah,
we've been trying to work on our on-ball defense and rebounding, so if we can limit that, hopefully we can see some good things.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a great birthday and hope you get the win. Hey, Paris, a really tough first quarter. How do you guys bounce back from that?
Oh, look, they're a well-drilled team. They're knocking down shots left, right and centre. So we just got to keep hustling. We're doing good on defence. We're getting the rotations. Unfortunately, they're just making it. So hopefully in the second half we can come out and do the same and start making our shots and find better offence for ourselves.
You're right there. You guys have generated some really good looks. You got to knock some of these down. So who are you guys trying to target defensively to attack?
I don't think we're targeting one person specifically. I think we want to make the defence shift. We want to make sure we're taking good shots and we want to make sure that we're getting our people, our personnel to the shots they want to shoot.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good luck for the second half.
So half-time here at Porirua, impressive by the Northern Kāhu. They lead by 20. Long way still to go though. Whoever wins this one this afternoon will be number 1 top seed headed into next week's GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi Final 4. TAB stats on the other side of the break. Don't go away.
+7 on field goal attempts.
Okay, cool. And what's the word you have to spell that up? Zinc. So great. So zinc, beef, iron, they have to go down, score a bucket, grab a letter, and come back. So you guys ready? On the count of 3. We're gonna go down from 3, 2, 1, go! Yes, boss. Yes, boss. Good moments. Okay? And grab
Welcome back to Porirua, halftime here. GJ Gardner Holmes, Tauihi, Saturday afternoon action on Sky Sport. Last game of the regular season for the Queens. The Kāhu still to play on Monday night against the Final Four next week. Kāhu leading this one by 20. Impressive first half. Justin Nelson, Miles Pearce with you. TAB stats. Let's have a look at the Miles, and as you would expect, a lot of them will heavily favour the Kāhu. Most impressive.
It really is. Thomas hasn't really missed from the floor. Davidson doing great power of work there. Ledger Walker chipping in. And Madgen, who is such a talented player, 5 points. He's really sharing the load.
Tara Reid, 9 rebounds in that opening half. The Kāhu leading the rebounds 23 to 18 overall. They are leading just about every stat as you would expect, bar a couple of interesting ones which we'll have a talk about in just a moment. Madgen with 5 assists. Kāhu shooting 51% from the field, 53% from beyond the arc. The Queens shooting at 34% from the field and just 13% from long range as we go through the remaining stats. Interesting one in that first half. The Queens used 32 minutes off the bench. So bench players played 32 minutes in the first half. For the Kāhu, 5 minutes. So they have gone with their starting unit today and they are running them into some real form ahead of next week's Final Four.
They really are, and you're right, throughout the course of the season, the Kāhu have played a number of different lineups in Rapid League. It started in Rapid League and in the Tauihi League, but here you look at this lineup and go, well, if this is their best shot, this is what they're going with, and they're going to try and get some reps. Interesting one for me, the Queens actually have
the referee. something. Cat's sitting over there on one of the tables.
Come see me again.
All the action, of course, live on Sky Sport. GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi Final Four. 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. Sunday night's grand final from 6 p.m. Also live and free on Sky Open. Hope you can join us for that. The ladder, it's an interesting one. This is the second last game of the regular season. Monday night, the Kāhu play the Phi. The Puakai are out of contention. They're gone. The Queens came into this game leading the table by 1. If the Kāhu win this one, they will be the #1 seed. If the Queens win this one, and they've got a bit of work to do, they will be the #1 seed. Where the Hoiho and the Phi finish is still anyone's guess. Could be 3rd, could be 4th. Monday night will tell us more.
It will indeed, and what a great way to finish the season. With 2 games to go, every single spot in the top 4 is up for grabs. So right now, it's a commanding lead, but we mentioned earlier that run in the Rapid League, the Queens can score, and they can score quickly. So can that carry over to this game right now, and can they pull something out of the hat?
Well, here we go, second half underway. And you know the Kāhu won't slow down. Impressive start today, 32-8 opening quarter. Amari Thomas, the star of the show, has not missed a shot, 7 of 7 shooting. She has 18 in the game to the half in this 20-point margin. 7 on the shot clock. Davidson off the glass, kept it short, battle for the boards. Davidson had it, got it back. Second shot doesn't go, and in the end, she knocks it out of the hands of Kalani Purcell, who just moments ago was nursing the little one on the sidelines.
Which is fantastic to see.
Carr to Watts. What can Steph Watts do here? Fires from deep, and again, just not her day from long range. 0 of 5 from beyond the arc. She has 4 points in the game.
Well, it's not the Queen's day from downtown. Only 12.5%. That'll drop it a little.
2 of 16 they are from beyond the arc. Tara Reid can hit them from range. It ends up with Truesdell. Let's see what the captain can do for the Queens. Stella Beck has been in good form. Came in midway through the season, 15 points a game. Chrislyn Carr doesn't get the roll, does draw the foul.
And it's little ones like that that the Queens have missed. You know, that could have been a potential 3-point play, as we see Carr stay down on the floor after getting a little bump there. But the ability to just get those ones to go, that can start to change the momentum. We see here the replay.
Maybe just getting a knee to the side of the leg there on contact. Take a bit to keep Chrislyn Carr down. She has had one heck of a season.
She really has.
90% from the TAB, shooting at more than 50% from the field. Chrislyn Carr, that deep two off the dribble is quite deadly.
And from a coaching standpoint, you've got to want to take something away. And I know the mid-range is where she lives, and that's sort of what teams are giving up in this modern day of basketball, as we see Reed fire from 3 and connect.
Another assist for Madgen as well. That's her 6th. Reed has 12 in the game. Carr with 13 is the only Queens player in double digits. She adds another 2. She's got 15 now.
She is so good off that change of pace, getting to the rim. She's been the bright spot on the scoring side for the Queens.
Madgen triple teamed in the end. Beck will get called for the foul. I think they all had a piece of her there. Steph Watts comes off just 2 minutes into the third quarter. So not sure whether that is a rotational decision, Miles, or maybe a niggle. We know she's been carrying a shoulder injury.
And she does have 3 fouls, so anything's possible in that rotation.
Thomas draws a foul. Beck with 2 quick fouls. That's her 3rd.
Well, the positive for Thomas, that won't go as a missed shot. She won't ruin her perfect evening so far.
She's been very good, hasn't she, Amari Thomas? 26 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, 80% from the TAB, 60% from the field. And her performance from downtown today, a perfect 4 of 4 from three-point land. Adds another couple from the stripe. She has 20 in the game.
And so quickly, 20, efficient.
Beck on the drive, off the glass. Her last step to the basket, Stella Beck, the way that she can slow herself down and take contact is quite extraordinary. Davidson maybe just got hassled out of it in the end by Grace Hunter, who comes up with it. Her pass to Stella Beck was left wanting. Davidson now again has to contend with Grace Hunter, who's come on and showed a little bit of energy.
Yeah, both teams are a little bit sloppy at the moment with the ball. A couple of turnovers back-to-back or near turnovers. You know, the Queens, if they want to try and narrow this game and turn it into a ball game, they need to be looking after that thing, looking after the ball extremely well. Every possession matters right now at both ends.
Davidson taking a break. Udaseki into the game. Udaseki very good in Rapid League earlier today. Now, that basket's been counted. Need to see that again. Not sure that it had been picked up on the whistle. We won't get to see that again. What were your thoughts there, Miles?
Well, there was a lot of contact on the drive, and so depending on what the foul was called for, but she picked up the ball and continued on to the basket. So depending on which bump was called, that's a viable call.
Well, first and foremost, you've got to put yourself in the position of attacking, which is exactly what Tess Madgen did. So she's rewarded. 3-point play. And she has been impressive again today, the Australian 31-year-old. Speaking of impressive, how about that, Chrislyn Carr?
She is doing it by herself right now for the Queens.
17 in the game. Next best for the Queens is Stella Beck with 9. Reed off the glass. Quality stuff from Tara Reed. Carr back the other way, looking for Truesdale. .22 margin. Thomas. There's her first miss of the game, believe it or not. I think we can forgive her for one.
Maybe just one. I do love the way Madgen just controls the tempo, able to find her teammates. She does such an outstanding job leading this group.
And Grace Hunter involved defensively there again. The upside here for the Queens is the energy that Grace Hunter has brought to the floor in the last couple of minutes. Deep 2, Chrislyn Carr. Her and Tess Madgen having a friendly chat on the way back down the other court, way back down the court. I think they're enjoying the chance of matching up on each other today.
Two stars of the game competing hard.
Ledger Walker for three, and hasn't she picked up her three-point game? That's her third this afternoon. Part of her game that she's been working on. Grace Hunter is fouled by Udasiki.
And it is a much improved area of her game, and she's already passed her season average of 11 points. Speaking of that energy, Mason always brings that type of thing for the Queens, so hopefully that combination of Hunter and Mason can up that, and with Tegan Graham on the floor, she's able to spread the floor, see if the Queens can get the ball moving. Some inside-outside action. Generate some good looks for themselves.
So just over 15 minutes to play in this game here this afternoon, Miles. And clearly the start today by the Kāhu was scintillating and has set them up for this very handy lead. It's a long way back for the Queens. What do the Queens try and take out of the next 15 minutes? As we said earlier, their next game is going to be a semi-final.
Well, right now it's almost how dig you can deep and what you can do for yourself, regardless of the score. Can you put some systems in place, or can you put some things in place, some goals, some achievable things to get this back? 5.5 to go in the third. Can we get this to 12?
This will help. Stella Beck off the ring. Reed with another rebound. That's her 10th. Double-double for her today. Madgen for three. Looked good off the hand. And on the flip side, turnover there, Stella Beck. On the flip side, the Kāhu have the Phi on Monday night. That will have a bearing one way or the other on finishing positions for the Queens, the Hoi Ho and the Phi. What will the Kāhu be looking for out of the next 15 minutes?
They will be trying to execute and just get as many repetitions with this group, because they haven't had a lot of minutes together, as we see Beck pick off that pass.
Carr underneath, good to go. Sold the dummy. Got Tess Madgen off the floor.
Sold it and sold it well.
Here's Madgen looking to respond. Ledger Walker in the corner. Look out. Here comes the speedster again. Chrislyn Carr. Yes. Timeout Kāhu. And what a third quarter by Chrislyn Carr.
Brings her tally to 21. But as you said, you know, that it was the start of the game that has put the Queens in this hole. Because apart from that, they've played fairly solid for a quarter and a half now.
Here comes Queen T.
We see the huddle there from each group. Dive into that huddle, and the Queens will just want to tidy up. The Kāhu want to tidy up a couple of areas. Queens have scored well, and Hunter and Mason brought in with that energy. You know, this is what they need right now. They need a little bit more of a boost, a little bit more of that on both ends of the floor.
Well, the upside for the Queens is since quarter time, they've won this game 39-34.
Now, you can't lose a game in the first quarter, but you can dig yourself a fairly big hole, and that's what they've done. So they need to chip away, and it's going to start on the defensive end. They need to be able to get a couple of stops, maybe stop at Sal's, and then be able to score at the other end. They've got to turn that great defensive effort into points.
Chrislyn Carr still the only Queen in double digits, 21 for her now. She's added 10 points in this quarter. Amari Thomas has 20 for the Kāhu. Back underway. GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi action from Porirua this afternoon. Every game live on Sky Sport in season 2023. Final four, just 1 week away. Ledger Walker, rebound. Reed, number 11 for her. First offensive rebound, believe it or not. Ledger Walker fires again, leaves that one short. Steph Watts is back into the game for the Queens.
And the Queens come out and show a little bit of zone there to try and disrupt. Now, it's very hard to rebound out of the zone all the time. You just see Reed grab her first offensive rebound. But just that change up there, try and change the flow. As we see Kāhu unable to knock down the three from the top.
Has been one of the most intriguing matchups today. Kāhu and Madgen spent a lot of time playing on each other. Thomas inside. Heavy contact with Beck. She jumps back up. One team wanted a flop, the other team wanted a charge. How often do you see that?
Oh, flip a coin on some of these calls. You know, they could go either way, but you're right. You're right about that matchup. Two absolute stars of the game going at it.
I actually don't mind the no call. That last bit of contact between Thomas.
Mason, huge block.
And Beck, it was a big block, and gets it back for the Queens with a chance. Stella Beck, wide open look, knocks it down, and that started with Paris Mason back the other way.
And that's what we were talking about. Mason brings that energy. She's known in that other game as a defender and a very, very good defender. So her ability to generate some stops, extra possessions.
And what I like there from the Queens is they immediately all ran down the court and said, well done to Paris Mason. So acknowledging the defense. Margin at 18. Jodie Cameron just getting a warning here from the Queen officials. Not too happy. Back underway, 2:37 to play in this third quarter.
You see that the Queens back in their zone.
Davidson trying to seal inside. Madgen open for three, knocks it down. Here comes Kāhu. Quickly back the other way, keeping the dribble alive.
Has the ball on a string.
Hunter turns back to the basket. Forced to pass out, turns it over. Madgen has Thomas, goes to Thomas. Thomas hesitates, waits, and patiently puts it in off the glass. Good response here by the Kāhu from that mini break. Margin at 23. Beck turns the corner, gets it to go.
And that's a great read by Beck, realizing that she has some speed on Thomas. Able to just take that. She was asking for the ball from Kāhu. Kāhu's calling for an on-ball screen. Beck's calling for the ball, but her ability to just catch that, change direction, change speed, get on the rim.
Well, they will take some confidence away with how they've gone about it since quarter time. But no doubt at some stage early in the week, they will pick apart that opening 10 minutes, the Queens. Because that's where the damage was done today.
And a lot of those things that just capitulated and compounded. You know, they made a mistake, they made another one, and then they just started missing some good looks. So they turn around and shoot a better clip in that first quarter. All of a sudden, that can be a different ball game.
And we have seen it a couple of times from the Queens this season as well, Miles, especially against the Hoi-Ho, where they've gone on big runs. Speaking of runs, Grace Hunter.
And just the recognition from the coaching staff and the athletes, hey, we are not shooting the ball well from three tonight. It's just one of those days. So what can we do to generate different looks and still keep that scoreboard ticking over?
And they're in this zone at the moment. Kāhu, Madgen. We've talked about that matchup quite a fair bit. Queens would desperately love to see Steph Watts get going. Scores. TAB visit for Steph Watts. And she has looked so much better when driving the ball tonight as opposed to shooting from long range.
Well, with the Queens at the moment, I think it's almost, that's the case for almost everyone. Only 3 made threes on the night. They've got to keep pushing the issue, keep forcing the referees to blow that whistle. stop the clock, get to the foul line, knock down some shots from the TAB.
0 of 5 from long range for Steph Watt. She has 7 in the game. And we're back to 15, believe it or not. Can the Kāhu strike a late blow here? Reed, short, Watts keeps it alive. Dangerous pass to Carr, easily picked off by Madgen. That was sloppy.
And that was why I mentioned earlier, you know, you can get this. Can you get this back to 12 by the end of the quarter? And they have the ball, they had it 15, and a turnover there is costly.
Well, Madgen's used all the time here. So expertly well done. And it's not going to give the Queens another chance at a look. So a late turnover for the Queens, holding up their own run. They do get it back to 15, though, with a quarter to play. Have the Kāhu done enough? Or can the reigning champs come on with one more run? A quarter to play here from Porirua this afternoon. GJ Gardner-Holmes, Tauihi. We'll be back right after the break.
Make some noise for these young, small people. Hey, so they'll be shooting buckets. That's all right. Okay, guys. Are you guys ready? On the count of 3, we'll get to try and get some buckets. Everybody count them over with me, please. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh, sugars. See, straight away. Oh, I love it. Keep on going. Let's go. He looks like watching people shoot hoops. I love watching people shoot hoops. And I love watching small people shoot hoops. They can learn to love this game for the rest of their life after they shoot these hoops. Good way to go. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, guys, please give these youngins a big round of applause. Round of applause for these youngins. Yay! Look at these guys. Guys, ready? They look like they enjoyed themselves. So, friends, once again, please put your hands together for these young kids. Thank you, buckets.
Welcome back to Rauparaha Arena this afternoon here in Porirua. Beautiful day outside and some hot basketball inside as well. Kāhu leading this one by 15. They have led by as much as 29. Quarter to play, the Queens certainly starting to look a lot better, Miles Pearce, than what they did earlier here this afternoon.
It was indeed, winning that third quarter by 5, and what's impressive is winning the glass that quarter 12-6. They managed to get that ball, like keep the Kāhu to one shot, and then just be able to get it back and push the pace with Crystal and Carr ball in hand.
13th turnover for the Queens to start this last quarter. Again, the Kāhu with this formidable starting 5 on the court, playing a lot of minutes together here this afternoon. As you would expect, this is the first time this 5 have started a game together this season. Tara Reid, Penina Davidson, Amari Thomas, Crystal Ledger-Walker, Tess Madgen, and they've certainly made the most of it this afternoon. A lot of minutes on the court, and that's going to help them for the Final Four.
It really is, and particularly thinking they've got another game Monday where they get an opportunity to run it back and do it all over again.
Foul called there against Davidson. There's Josie Trusdell.
If the Queens want to have a shot at this, they've got to look after the ball. 13 turnovers so far. Already won here in the fourth quarter.
Well, we have seen them come home late a couple of times this season on this floor. So when they get their back up, they can score quickly. Here's Steph Watts. Again on the drive, looks so much better doing that today. Adds another 2, and that's the sort of form the Queens want her in for next week.
And it hasn't been her night from 3, but as you said, when she puts the ball on the floor and is in an aggressive attack mode, she's looking very good tonight.
She has 9. Madgen pulls up, can't get it to go. Queens rebound. Beck, here they come.
And once again, Kāhu limited to shot, stop, rebound, Queens off and running again.
Kā, wide open 3. No. Good look for her, though. She is 1 of 6 from long range in this game.
That'd take the Queens to 3 of 20 for the game. Really
Thomas.
not. Sorry, Thomas. Truesdale with the block.
Did well, didn't she? Shot clock at 3, though. At 2, Madgen knows it. She's got to go. Steps around Kā, gets it up, and nearly gets the roll. Battle between Davidson and Truesdale, and it's the former who wins that battle. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Here's that earlier block. Truesdale on Reed.
Truesdale nearly coming up with that second block. But Davidson just does not stop working on the glass. Earns herself a trip to the TAB line, knocking down the first.
Double-double for her today.
On her birthday.
13 and 11. Tara Reid with an interesting foul, it must be said. Not quite sure what was going on there with Stella Beck, the Tall Ferns teammates. Looked a little clumsy.
Yeah, and sometimes those things happen. You just sort of trip, fumble, bump, something. Refs make a call. Right there, it goes in the Queen's favour.
Oh, Steph Watts standing on that sideline. It's the easiest call for the Coin officials, and that's turnover number 14 for the Queens.
And now that they've got the ball game back to 14, they really need to take advantage of some of these stops. You see Truesdale, deflection.
Oh, Stella Beck with the pass to Kā. Kā now has to go to work on Madgen, who wins out, but the Queens get it back.
Kā in all kinds of traffic there. She had Grace Hunter on the wing, turned down that option.
Who's enjoying this game? Make some noise!
21 points for Kā, 15 for Beck, 11 for Hunter. Been impressed with Grace Hunter today.
She's been very good.
Kāhu fans, make some noise!
Played a good role in the Rapid League game. Come off the bench and provided some energy and defense.
No points off the bench for the Kāhu today. Every starter in double-digit scoring. Grace Hunter adds 2.
And we're back to 12. This is the streak that the Kā. Do you think the Kāhu are aware of their 0-5 record across these first 2 seasons?
I don't think so. I mean, this is the first time this unit has started together, and they've played a lot of minutes, heavy minutes together, and certainly the Queens have been rotating heavily today. So maybe just some tired legs for the Kāhu, but they still lead by 12, and they lead by 12 because of their scintillating 32-8 opening quarter. And I think right now that's going to hold them in good stead. Still a long way to come back for the Queens. Having said that, long way to go in the game. 6:53. Margin at 12. There's Stella Beck's parents in the crowd today. Wellingtonians, of course, local family. They'll be pretty happy with the season that Stella and the Queens have had. Stella's been in great form.
She has. She's been playing an unbelievably great role tonight and throughout the course of the season and career. Right now, they need the ball in her hands. She's got hot of late. 15 points in the game. Need to keep that scoreboard ticking over.
Part of our Sky Sport commentary crew, of course, during the Sal's NBL season. Stella Beck, there she is. Seems pretty well settled back at home in Wellington. Got no doubt her agent would have fielded a number of calls from Australian WNBL teams. She could walk back into that league, you would think. But has preferred in the last couple of years to be here at home with family and friends. And of course, captaining this Ansco Foods Tokomanawa Queens team in the Tauihi. Amari Thomas moves to 25, 9 of 10 from the field today, and she's 4 of 4 from the stripe. What a force she has been in 2023.
She really has. Nearly 26 a game with almost 8.5 rebounds to go with that.
Good defense, Penina Davidson.
And just another turnover for the Queens. We are broken record mode on that.
And it will result in another basket for the Kāhu. Margin at 16 now. They've come out of that timeout well. Beck, Truesdell, deep 2, won't go. Davidson rebound.
And if you're going to allow Davidson to get catches that deep, Stella Beck is just undersized and doesn't have the same strength and power there. As we see, Thomas lose the ball. Queens come up with it.
Stella Beck with the block. Davidson has 12 rebounds, by the way. Kāhu for 3. Hasn't gone down too well for her today, but she comes up at an opportune time.
Well, Imagine's going to keep backing up. Kāhu does such a good job putting the ball on the floor and getting to that mid-range and getting to the basket. If she is going to, well, as we see Kāhu tap the ball ahead and get out.
And you'll see her speed there, running away from Ledger Walker. She's got 26 in the game, Chrislyn Kāhu.
Her and Thomas, both with 26 apiece.
Queens stay in this zone. Working okay for them at the moment. Imagine could make them pay here. Maybe Watt's just got a finger on that. And here comes Kāhu again. Another 2. Timeout. Kāhu. Margin at 9. I don't think it's been single digits. In fact, it was Hunter with that touch on the shot. I don't think it's been single digits since probably the opening 2 minutes of the game.
And it was an amazing 17-4 halfway through the first quarter in favor of the Kāhu. And what they've done since the end of that first quarter is just able to grind and grind and grind. Won the second by 4, won the third by 5, and they're up here again in the fourth.
Well, whoever wins this one will officially finish on top of the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi ladder for the regular season, of course. Ahead of next week's Final Four. Queen T getting the crowd up and going. Can the Queens deliver the unthinkable? They have come home very, very late in a number of games here this season after going down or being behind by margins earlier in games. And it looks like they're doing it again.
Well, you asked earlier, what do they need to do? And we said just show that fight. Show that ability to chip away, get in and turn this into a ball game. And they really have done that. Kāhu's been outstanding, 28 points, leading from the front.
Purcell back into the game in the middle of this zone, and this zone has worked.
Well, halfway through that first quarter, we were asking for some change-ups. What can the Queens do? And they've come to this zone, and we see Watts grab a ball and then get fouled. They've come to this zone, and they've made such an impact on the game. Kāhu have struggled against the zone.
And I guess the question is, should they have gone to it earlier?
Possibly, but they're back in this ball game. 9 points. Just over 4.5 to play.
So they force a foul at one end. Here's Kāhu. Watts for 3. That's one
a great
rolls
look.
around. 0 of 6 years from
Great
downtown.
Look. And her looks have been good. She's not just shooting random shots out of the offense. Just hasn't been her night from three.
Davidson turns it over off her leg. And I've got to tell you, Kāhu coach Jodie Cameron is just to our right. And in the last 4 or 5 minutes, her demeanour has changed markedly. It was pretty cool there for a while. Oh, look out. Chrislyn Carr comes up with a massive triple. Margin at 6.
Well, the defenders are so worried about her taking the ball off the dribble, getting to mid-range and hoop, that they keep backing up, allowing her to just walk into that three.
31 for her. Tauihi record is 34. Foul, Davidson trying to force the jump. That's their 4th team foul, by the way.
And that favours the Queens because they're able to get to the line. Everything now is in the bonus. Every foul, they're getting to the line. That means the clock is stopping. So they can earn some more points and not have that clock keep running.
Here goes Carr again. Good pair of hands to be in. Hunter, corner. Gee, it looked good, didn't it?
It did, just a little long on that. But once again, Queens generate a good look. Unable to knock it down.
Can they get another stop? 3.5 to play. Reed gives it up. Ledger Walker, Magin. Carr, good defense. Better offense. Magin puts it down. Carr with the foul. And Tess Magin off to the TAB. Gee, the Kāhu needed that. Huge sigh of relief from the bench down our right.
Subbing in for the Queens is number 12.
As we see Purcell check out.
And that's just the experience of a 31-year-old star who has played around the world. And she converts from the strike. 14 points in the game for Tess Magin. Lead back out to 9. Carr for 3 is fouled. She'll go to the TAB for 3 looks. And if she can nail all 3, Miles, if I've got my stats correct, she will be level for the Tauihi individual game scoring record of 34 points. Tiana Clark last season.
And with just over 3 to play, and the way she's playing, she may be able to blow that out of the water if she knocks down the first one.
I'm sure our stats guru, Mike Lacey, will be all over that at the moment. Second one.
Shout out to Mr. Lacey, does a great job. Lacey Lowdown.
Oh, he's the go-to.
He is. He is the greatest and knows everything.
Oh, he'll like you saying that, by the way.
It's just true. It is very, very true.
Just falling off his couch home in Auckland.
Mr. Lacey doing a great job, all things New Zealand basketball.
34 for Carr. Back to 6. 3 minutes to play. Still in the zone. Open shot. Reed from the corner. That's deep. It's come off the hand of Truesdell. Should be a Kāhu ball. Should be a Kāhu ball. Coin officials will come together and have a chat. Jodie Cameron in the background letting them know that she saw the same thing we saw, and that is the correct call.
The crowd has something to say, but we've got the fortunate angle of replay.
Well,
we had a pretty good angle from where we're sitting as well.
Yeah, we did. Clearly came off Josie Truesdell. Shot clock at 14. Magin through the gap has been called for the offensive foul. Gee, I'm not sure about that.
No, there was a little fumble and players definitely ran into each other and made some contact as we see the replay here.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I think that's a rough call. 2:50 to play.
Basketball is a contact sport. There's going to be some bumps and grinds along the way.
There's that replay there, different angle. Beck, Watts on the drive, Steph Watts. She's been good on the drive today. This game has tightened right up. Queens have beaten the Kāhu the last 5 times they've played against each other, including last year's grand final. Reed, big basket to our Reed.
And
huge shot.
Just her ability to knock down that three at such a crucial time, giving the Kāhu a little bit more breathing room.
Holding that buffer at the moment. Carr comes up short. Has the Kāhu done enough? Can they take top spot? Madgen runs into Carr. That's a block. And that'll put Tess Madgen to the strike. Kristlyn Carr in a little bit of pain. Here's the GJ Gardner Holmes replay. Just getting tangled up right there. And we've just got a break in play here as Kristlyn Carr brings herself back to her feet. And we may have a timeout, in fact we have. So timeout called by the Kāhu. 1:50 to play. Let's have a look at that replay again. It's Madgen on the drive. Maybe just a right arm involved there as well.
Always tough when someone lands on you on a fairly hard surface.
So confirmation from the great man, Mike Lacey, that Tiana Clark does now equally hold the record for the highest individual scoring performance in the Tauihi of 34 points, now shared with Kristlyn Carr.
And with 1:50 to play and Carr in hot form, she could add to that.
Tana Reid with that big three-pointer for the Kāhu, pushing them back out to a 9-point margin. And it looks like that buffer may be enough for the Northern Kāhu here today.
Particularly with Madgen at the line, shots to come. She can stretch this lead back to double figures.
4 of 6 from the strike today. 9 assists for Madgen. 3 steals, 14 points. Misses the first. Second one goes down. Margin at 10. Kristlyn Carr has come back onto the floor after that timeout, which is a good sign for Queens fans.
I do like this here. Playing Stella at the point and Carr off the bench, off the ball, sorry.
Carr deep 2, leaves it short.
And this zone has worked very well for them, but if the Queens need to extend this game and get more possessions, being down 10 with just under 90 seconds to go. They need to be able to stretch this and turn this into extra possessions. They're not going to be able to do that if they just turn and run back down the court on defense.
No doubt the Phi will be watching what the Queens have done here in a zone against the Kāhu, and indeed whichever of the 3 teams comes up against the Kāhu in the semi-finals next Saturday, we'll be taking a look at the tape.
And it's not like they shot the ball poorly. Normally, if you're getting killed inside and you're not worried about the outside, you'll go to a zone. But the Kāhu shot the ball well, and they had dominated inside through Thomas and Davidson. But that zone messed up the rhythm.
Amari Thomas adds 2. Here's Carr. Gives it up to Watts. Watts on the drive, off the glass, and again, heavy-handed. So margin at 10. And that will just about do us. Good game between the top 2 teams in the GJ Gardner Holmes Tauihi. Kāhu get the win. 85-75. They set it up with an opening quarter blitz. What a start by the visitors here today. 32-8 opening quarter. The Queens then won the next 3 quarters. And in fact, scoreboard has just ticked over. 87-75, the final margin. 87-75. We'll take a quick look at the TAB stats before chatting with a couple of the players. Let's roll through the stats today. And certainly a lot to like about this Kāhu team. All 5 starters in double-digit scoring, led by Amari Thomas with 28. Chrislyn Carr, exceptional, 34 for the Queens. Stella Beck keeps her good season running as well. Rebounds, Davidson with a double-double, leading rebounder in the competition with 15. Or leading rebounder still on the court in the competition, of course, with Ashton Prechtel out for the season. Tess Madgen with 10 assists. Another handy games work from the Australian. Single blocks all the way round as we tick over to the steals as well. Tess Madgen leading the way there with 3. Kāhu shot at 41% in the end. The Queens shot at 41%. The Queens only 19% from long range. The Kāhu very impressive from beyond the arc today. 12 of 29 at 41%. Amari Thomas and Stella Beck both had good games. Here they are with Miles Pearce.
Impressive first quarter that really got you over the line. Big comeback. How do you guys what do you take out of that, and how do you prepare for Monday in such a quick turnaround?
We know we've been in that position before with a quick turnaround, so we know we have to do recovery-wise. And honestly, we needed that type of game to get us ready for next weekend. So I'm happy with the outcome.
Yeah, so next weekend, back here. Don't know who you're facing yet, but what does this week look like? Game Monday, travel when? You know, it's a busy week.
Yeah, well, we just have to prepare. I mean, we're professionals, so we're going to act like it. And anything to win a championship, so we're ready.
Thank you very much, and good luck for the finals. Stella, absolutely tough one. Great fourth quarter. And as you hear the band here, crowd favourite, hometown hero. Hey, you guys got home court advantage next week. What are you taking out of that, and how do you prepare for it?
Yeah, I mean, we're so lucky that the finals are here. We've got an amazing crowd, as you can see back there, and I imagine that the stands are going to be packed with Queen supporters, and that's just going to give us heaps of energy. So, yeah, all's going to be well.
Do you have we'd like to play this first in scenario?
No, look, I think it's really important just how we're playing at the moment. And, you know, we're on an upward trajectory for the next couple games. So we'll just focus on ourselves, whatever comes. All the teams are doing pretty well in the top 4. It's such a tight competition, so no worries.
Awesome. So, hey, have a great week in prep, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
League. So it's not just about the 3 points in Tauihi on Monday night. It's also about the 1 point in Rapid League, and that is what has made this season so much fun.
And it's such a 1 point. It's only 1 point, but it is such an important 1 point. And you can see even the Porirua had 10 wins in the Rapid League.
Kept them in the battle.
Kept them in the fight all the way through to the end. Didn't have the greatest season in Tauihi, but their Rapid wins kept them in the mix up until a round or so ago.
Well, one of the great things we love about our basketball in the NBL and the Tauihi is the fact that the fans get the chance to meet the players, and they're enjoying that opportunity right now. Kāhu with the win this afternoon, home by 12. Hope you enjoyed it right here on Sky Sport. We'll see you again on Monday night. Thank you.
Thank you.